What's up guys, Tim here from Audio Tutor. Let's talk today about using virtual drummers. Whether you are using something like Easy Drummer or a third-party plugin or VST plugin, or the virtual drummer here in Logic Pro 10 or even in GarageBand as well, this is a great tool for anyone creating and arranging music. It's great for the songwriter looking for a vibe, or a musician, or even a drummer looking for some ideas on fills and arrangement patterns. So today we're going to dive into the virtual drummer here in Logic Pro 10. This is an amazing tool, incredible technology here, all coming together. I love it. Let's have a look at how we might use this tool to arrange our drum patterns for your latest awesome song. All right, well, let's start at the very beginning. Here we have a brand new project I've just opened, and we're going to select it straight away in Logic comes up with which input thing do you want for your first track, and I'm going to choose the drummer, the virtual drummer. Let's do it. I've got the genre as songwriter. I'm pretty sure I don't have all of the drummers downloaded, but I'm sure there'll be one there. I hope there'll be one there. Let's go ahead and create that track. Alrighty, so it straight away come up with Darcy, the pop songwriter. Well, Darcy, it's very nice to meet you. And let's have a listen. I've done a project here in 6/8 because I don't do it very often. Thought it'd be a bit different. Let's have a listen to what it comes up with straight away. It's cool, right? So you've got a little fill there at the end of the eight bars. Is that 8 bars? Oh, my music theory is so bad. That's 8 bars. You got a little fill there on the toms. That was nice. That was nice. What we're going to jump into here, though, is all these different parameters you've got to fiddle around with, and how we can create some different arrangements with a song using all these different parameters. So as you can see over here, you've got toms you can click on, you've got cymbals you can click on, you've got the kick, the snare, and the hi-hat, and all of these things are adjustable. So you can automatically here it's got the kick drum, the snare, and the hi-hat. And this 2, I think that means it accents it on the second beat of the bar. I think that's what it means. So you can choose to accent it on the second beat, or the third beat, or the fourth beat, or the first if you want, right? I think the accent was good as far as I could hear. But you can change all this around. So say maybe for an intro, you might want to not have a snare at all, or any sort of cymbals or hi-hats or anything. You just got the kick and the toms. That's kind of a typical intro thing. Let's have a listen to what it does with that. That's pretty cool. And maybe as it's an intro, you want it to be a bit quieter. So you've then got this sort of XY grid, and you've got soft to loud, and you've got simple to complex. That's like the arrangement that it's going to put together for you. You've got a simple arrangement over here, so you can move your little dot over here to simple, or you can move it to complex, and it's going to change the arrangement. If you have a look at the waveform up here, it's actually going to change the arrangement as I move it over. There you go, it's taking stuff out, putting it back in. There you go. You see it kind of added a fill there and stuff. Right, so that's interesting. Let's have a listen then to the difference between a simple and a complex arrangement there with the kick and toms. And a complex arrangement sounds like this. Kind of threw the snare drum in there. I'm not sure why, because I didn't select snare drum. Maybe that's something annoying that Apple needs to look at. Anyway, so I kind of like the simple version for an intro. And then if we had it a bit softer, let's take it down towards the soft side of this XY grid. Let's have it nice and soft here. So now our intro sounds something like this. right? And maybe on this second section, maybe we want to cut this in half. On the second section, maybe we want things to start getting a bit louder, right? So what you can do then is you can then split this in half, right? There's a keyboard shortcut there, by the way, is Command T to cut it quickly if you don't want to be doing all your clicks and drags and all of that stuff. Command T. So you can cut it in half there, and then you could take the loudness up a bit here and maybe get a bit more complex, right? So it's added a little fill there, as you can see at the end of the 4 bars there, right? So let's listen to that whole thing now. Cool. It's looping it. Let me take the loop off. So we're kind of getting louder, I think. Can this go any softer? Yeah, let's take the beginning part as soft and simple as it will go. And the second section will make it a bit louder, a bit more complex. There you go, something like that. So now it's going to go... Cool. And then we're going to go into, say, like a big intro chorus or something like that. So if you just press the little add button there, it's going to add a section automatically. So for this, we don't want just the toms, do we? We want everything going crazy in there, right? You have to kind of choose here between hi-hat and toms and cymbals, right? You have to kind of choose between the 3. I'm going to go with hi-hat, snare, kick, and I'm going to add a tambourine and a clap. Why? Oh, no, we can only add 1. We can take that back. We can only add 1. But I'm going to add a tambourine, and I'm going to take the fills up here. So you may have noticed over here on the right-hand side is a fills dial, and that basically means you're going to add more fills automatically into your arrangement as you see the waveform changing there. This is all the way up with as many fills as it will do, and take it all the way down and take the fills out completely. There you go. So you can kind of see the difference in the waveform. Let's have a listen to, let's leave it about there. Let's have a listen to that then. That's cool, but I want it louder, so let's take it up here. Alright, so let's listen from the beginning then. With our intro is this bit, and it's getting louder, and then we're going to go into this, whatever, the intro chorus or whatever. Cool. Alright, so you notice it kind of, and because it's got these different sections and the arrangement's changing, it automatically adds in some little like fills and little cymbal crashes and things like that to kind of keep things feeling fluid. So also another tip for you here, it just came to my mind. If you drag a section to take you into the next bar, it's a really nice option to add a cymbal crash to the beginning of the next bar. So say you're taking the drums out for a second, right? It just makes it way more fluid. Just an extra tip that I just remembered. So as you can see, there's loads you can do here with it. I'm sort of feeling like the hi-hat isn't that amazing. So let's bring in cymbals instead and see what that sounds like. Cool, that sounds pretty cool. Try it on the 3 here. I think this this slider here, I think it's just variations. I'm finding it hard to kind of tell. I think it's just variations, different variations on what the virtual drummer is doing to the cymbals or to the hi-hat or to the toms, whatever. And that's the same for this percussion slider as well. Another little bonus tip, let's have a look at this details thing that many people don't even notice. It's down there in the corner. If you click the details little button, it brings up these little things, and I love these two dials here. Well, even the third dial. I love all three of these. They're really cool. So the first one here is the feel, right? This is great for a 6/8. We're doing a 6/8 arrangement. Getting the right feel for a 6/8, for your drummer's feel for the 6/8 is very, very important. Usually with a 6/8, you're kind of going to be, as it puts it here, pulling. You're going to be kind of, or I would say dragging sort of thing. You're going to be kind of sitting just behind the beat because you want that big snare hit to feel just a bit laid back, usually on a 6/8, unless you're playing, I don't know, Nelly the Elephant or something. So let's have a listen to what it does. What I'll do is I'll start with the feel all the way at push, and then I'll take it back to pull, and you should be able to hear a difference. Okay, well maybe you can hear a difference with a metronome. I think that might help. Alright, so that's pushing. You can kind of hear how the snare drum is just a slight, fraction in front of that metronome. And if we take it back to pull, it'll be the opposite. It'll be just a fraction behind the metronome. And there's that sound. You're often going for that sort of sound in a 6/8. You want the drums to be really laying back, being all cool and laid back. So the next dial here is the Ghost Notes dial. I think this is great as well. You're able to turn up and down the sound of those little ghost notes that the drummer might be playing on, mainly on the snare drum, but also on the cymbals. If they're riding a cymbal, there's little ghost notes in there and stuff like that. So let's have a listen. I'll turn it all the way up and all the way down, and you can have a listen to the difference. Alright, a few little differences there. And then the last one here is your hi-hat. And there are no hi-hats in it, so hang on, let me go back and we'll put the hi-hat back in instead of the cymbals. And you can basically, this is set at automatic, so as default you can have it as automatic, and it's just going to kind of go in between as a drummer would. But you can untick that box if you, for your arrangement, you might want an open hi-hat all the way through. So let's have a listen to that. Nice, or you could completely close it off for the whole arrangement as well. Cool, isn't it? I mean, it's so useful. I love all these little dials and things you can just play around with. It's great. Great for the songwriter, people just, you're trying to find the vibe for your song. This sort of thing is great. Okay, two more things I want to show you. The first one is swing over here. I hardly ever use this. I probably should use it more, but I usually feel when I need a swing in the song, I'm usually not using a virtual drummer, to be honest. But it's just that swing. If you're doing something more swung, is that a word? Swung? I don't know. But if you're doing jazz or something like that, you have that. You can play around with the the way the drummer plays, so it fits to your song and your arrangement. So that dial, you can dial it all. It's a percentage, much like if you've used any quantization stuff for your MIDI sounds or synthesizers or anything like that. You may have seen that there's an option to add swing into the arrangement when you're quantizing things. It's the same deal. The last thing, and this I love, this is one of my favorite things in the virtual drummer here in Logic Pro 10, is the kick and snare can follow another track. Now, we don't have another track open right now, but basically you can click follow there, and then in this drop down list that just says none at the moment because we don't have another track, it will bring up all the other tracks you have in your arrangement, and you can choose to follow something like, maybe you usually want to choose either the bass, drums and bass usually always stick together, or maybe you want to choose a riff that is always sticking out in your song. Not sticking out, it sticks out throughout your song. What am I trying to say? I don't know, say you have a guitar riff or a piano riff or something that is part of the song all the way through. That's what I'm trying to say. You may want to follow that to make sure that the drummer's kind of in keeping with that and getting the snare hits at the same time as certain accented notes in your riff. Whew, I got to the end of the sentence. All right, so that is an awesome one, the follow thing. Play around with that. I've even tried it on vocals as well, so like try and follow the lead vocal, which can sometimes be really handy. It will jump in and do like a fill when it feels the vocal coming to the big chorus or the big note or something like that. It will add like a fill in to kind of bring more of that energy and that sort of thing. So that's really handy to play around with. I think that's all. We're going to be moving on in the next video all about virtual drummers. We're going to be talking about actually mixing this stuff. It all gets a bit more complicated from there, but that's all right. That's why I'm here. I'm here to guide you through step by step and make things that were complicated so easy. So in the mixing of a virtual drummer in Logic Pro 10 here, you can actually go into the drum kit, you can change the drums that are being used, you can change the samples that are being used, all of that stuff. So we'll be talking about that in the next video about virtual drummers. And then we'll also be talking about the actual mixing, how to, bring your virtual snare, make it pop a bit more, all of that mixing stuff. So we'll be talking about that in the future. I hope you enjoyed this sort of basic look at your virtual drummer here in Logic Pro 10. It's one of those things that you may have just kind of clicked on and gone, hey, this is cool, it's doing stuff automatically, but I don't know what any of these buttons and dials and buttons and dials do. So that's what this video is for, to just kind of help you get the basics down, and then we're going to talk about the really advanced stuff soon. If you are looking to get started recording and mixing, maybe you've got an awesome new song and you're just adding your virtual drums perhaps, maybe that's why you're watching this video, I have a free little gift for you. It's a 25-page free ebook with a full list of all the equipment you'll need to get started recording and mixing on an affordable budget. There's a link in the description below. Click on that, give me your email address, I'll send it right over to you. It's a really helpful guide talking about audio converters, microphones, headphones, speakers, or monitors as we call them, all of that stuff that you may have no clue about, or maybe you do have a clue about. Maybe you've been doing recording and mixing for a while, but you just like some affordable recommendations. Well, I've got them all for you, along with some helpful tips and tricks and things like that in a 25-page ebook. Link in the description. Enjoy, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day or evening or morning or whatever time you're watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your wanders on YouTube or Facebook. It's also on Facebook. All right, bye. Oh, my name's Tim from Audio Tutor. Ciao.